कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। The eighth chapter began with Arjuna asking 7 questions. Kim tad brahma, kim adhyatmam, and so on. Of those 7 questions, we have so far seen what Sri Krishna said about Brahma, about Adhyatma, and thirdly, about Karma. Karma, which has a broad meaning, is given a meaning very specific to Vedic ritual, which, among many other things, can cause Jivatmas to come down on the earth to take yet another birth. Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visarga karma sannidha. Visarga, visarjana, releasing certain permitted offerings into the fire in the Vedic fire ritual is called karma. Lord Krishna is very accommodative by calling that Vedic fire ritual karma. He does not totally forbid other meanings. Any movement is karma. Anything where we have a sense of doership is karma. Karmani akarmaya pashyet, we saw in the 4th chapter. Somebody might be sitting quietly, but mentally looking at himself as doing this or doing that, and already anxious about his work succeeding or failing. Then there is karma. Though outwardly he is sitting quietly, maybe below a tree. And another enlightened person would be going around doing a lot of things in the eyes of others. But if this blessed one is free from sense of doership, in what appears as karma, there is actually akarma. That is chapter 4. But here the meaning is the release of ghee or ball of rice, ball of some other permitted material. Charupuroda shadi agnau visarjanam. We saw that meaning too. And we said what came in chapter 3, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava. Parjanya and then yajna. Yajna causes parjanya. So this Vedic fire sacrifice, by causing rains, it facilitates the movement of the Jivatma according to a Vedanta or Vedic imagery. It may have hidden meanings or it may be literally true. That is subject to research. We now move on to the verse 4. Lord Sri Krishna answers in the 4th shloka. He answers the 4th question. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma is the first 3 questions. Then adibhutam cha kim proktam. What is called adibhuta? What is adidaivatam? Number 5. Who is adiyajna? Number 6. Then how are we to know the Supreme at the time of passing on? at the time of the so-called death, which is the death of the body. Please remember again and again, you don't die, nobody dies. Bodies fall off and you or your near and dear ones, they don't die, they move on. They have another mission to accomplish. Therefore, the wise people should never cry when the so-called death takes place around them. Gatasun agatasuncha nanushocanti panditaha, said Sri Krishna in chapter 2 right at the beginning. So the fourth verse answering the fourth question and also the fifth and sixth goes Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushaschadidhaivatam adhiyajnohamevatra dehe dehabhritam vara. Calling Arjuna, oh, the best among the embodied ones. Dehabhritam. Who is a Dehabhrit? Deham vibharti, one who holds a body, one who has a physical body, is a Dehabhrit. And Dehabhritam, of countless such living beings who have a body, you are Varaha, you are the best. Dehabhritam Vara is addressing Arjuna. And now coming to Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Adhibhuta is in every one of us, in every living being, we have a perishable dimension. A perishable dimension is, as a Tippanakara rightly says, in every one of us, there is this physical body, and that is Adhibhuta. So, Shankaracharya says, Adhibhutam Pranijatam Adhikritya Bhavat. Bhuta means Prani, any living being. Prani Jatam. The word Jata here means category. Jata should not be translated here as born. Elsewhere, yes, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. There, Jata means birth or someone who is born. But here, Prani Jatam. Somewhere you may come across the expression Vriksha Jatam. Vriksha Jatam means that entire category of trees and plants and so on. So wherever there is a living being, Adhibhuta, that is Bhuta, and in that Bhuta there is a perishable side, Kshara. So who is that perishable or what is that perishable dimension? Ksharaha, Ksharati iti Ksharaha. Whatever decays, no matter how handsome somebody is at the age of 25 or 35, watch out, watch out. There was a young man who was very handsome, and his father was not all that impressive. Somewhere, a girl was to be married to this young man, and the family of the girl said, the boy is so handsome, but when we go to their house, their father sits right at the entrance on the porch. And he is so old, so looking so horrible. Son is so handsome, son is so handsome. Finally, they got the daughter married to that young son. And yes, even after marriage for 10 years, 20 years, even 30 years, the girl's side used to say, our son-in-law is so handsome. But time and tide wait for none. When that handsome young son became middle-aged and became a little old, he slowly crossed 70, 75. One day, the girl's parents passed away. The girl's brothers one day went to meet their brother-in-law. And they were shocked. They didn't say in front of him. Behind, they talked to each other. Our sister married this fellow, was so handsome. Now he looks exactly like his father, about whom at the time of our sister's wedding we said, oh, that father looks horrible. And now our brother-in-law looks horrible. There was a picture of the father-in-law or the girl's father-in-law on the wall, looking shrunk and all that. And now the brother-in-law looks exactly like his father, shrunk, no energy, and so on. So that is life. Ksharaha vinashi bhavaha yat kinchit janimat vastu janihi asya asti iti janimat. Because vastu is neuter, janimat. Otherwise it would have been janiman. If it were feminine, it would have been janimati. Suppose a man has a lot of wealth, he is called Shriman. A woman has a lot of wealth, Shrimati. And some neuter entity has a lot of wealth, Shrimat. Janimat vastu. Jani means Janma. Whatever is born has a body, and that body is bound to perish. Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha. So the Tippanikara says, Praninam sharira bhagaha, the physical body. Today's handsome brother-in-law, son of that not handsome old man, eventually becomes the not handsome old man and perishes. Very few, 1 in 1,000 in the world, look very graceful, even old age, in a new way though, not exactly like how they were to begin. I'm speaking from Bombay, and in Bombay we have one big B, Amitabh Bachchan. He is very interesting. Some 82 or 83-year-old is. And he is in a new avatar these days. Looks old, but as cheerful, as talented, as creative, as good humored, having as much presence of mind as ever before, having patience, having, oh, wonderful man. So, there are exceptions. Otherwise, most of them. Why should I give only Bollywood example? In my opinion, my Vedanta master, Swami Chinmayananda, was wonderful, very graceful. Even when he was in his last few days, 77 years old, oh my, even though he was going on a wheelchair, uh, in Siddhabari, he wanted to go up the stage to give his Viveka Chudamani lectures. We had to push him on a ramp, on a wheelchair. But even on the wheelchair, he was kingly. Even on the stage, we had to help him take his seat. And in 92, since I was the Acharya in Mumbai, I was given the privilege of, after he took his seat, I was given the chance to put a shawl upon his feet. Then he is all set. Swami Subodhananda, the Acharya in Siddhabari, had the blessed privilege of actually pushing the wheelchair. I was also by the side. After we went up the stage, we would help him sit. But everywhere, we, the young Swamis, did not have the grace or dignity or the royal looks that the old man had. The old Swamiji sat in a style. Everything he did was in great style. Once he was coming out of the wheelchair in Mumbai ashram, and one young Swami, those days, other ashrams used to say about Chinmaya Mission. when they had to refer to Swamis of Chinmaya Mission, they used to say, the well-fed Swamis of Chinmaya Mission. Maybe things have changed, I don't know. It's 22 years since I left the Chinmaya Mission. But yes, in Chinmaya Mission, many Swamis were well-fed and they had a little tummy. One of my pleasant memories is how we saw Swamiji coming out in a wheelchair with a walking stick in his hand. And the young Swami was coming in front to do namaskar. But what precision, I tell you. Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanandji, tilted his walking stick. It was vertical. He made it horizontal, 90 degrees upward turn. And the precision, the tip of that walking stick exactly touched the belly of the young, well-fed Swami of Chinmaya Mission. It softly, gently, neither 1 inch more nor 1 inch less. The tip of the walking stick touched the belly of the young Swami, and Gurudev, very lovingly, like a grandfather figure, said to that young Swami, reduce your stomach. And then took another Amitabh Bachchan, I tell you. If I get to meet Amitabh Bachchan, I will ask him, did you at some point draw inspiration from Swami Chinmayanandaji in some of your wonderful manners and ways, elegant ways? The walking stick comes up, touches the belly, reduce your stomach. And then the walking stick went down, and the young Swami blushed, felt shy. Yes, Swamiji, he said. Anyway, except like that 1 in 1,000, you know how people lose their charm, lose their shine. The physical body, the Atma is ever shining, but who knows Atma? One rare soul knows the Atma and knows that I am ever young. So, what a beautiful short explanation Sri Shankaracharya gives in his commentary on Gita words. Adhibhutam ksharo bhava प्राणिजातम अधिकृत्य भवति कोसौ क्षर क्षरतेति क्षरः विनाशी भावः यत्किंचित् जनिमत् वस्तु इत्यर्थः. Coming to after adhibhutam, adhidaivatam, and the mantra, or I should say shloka, says adhidaivatam, some principle which is not in the jivatma but on a higher divine plane. Adhidaivatam. Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, and Adhyatma are all related to Atma, oneself, Bhuta, the external physical level, and Daiva is something cosmic. Shankara says, Purushascha Adhidaivatam. Purushaha here is the Purnaha. To begin with, there is the Supreme Brahman, which is ever full. This getting old and perishing, etc., is very superficial. None of us should worry about getting old. None of us should worry about losing our charming looks or whatever, That is to be just ignored, smiled away. Smile away at your own getting old. Never make it an issue. Of course, take some care of the body, like keeping a vehicle in good shape. You wash your car, you give it for service. Those things are to be done. Don't be irresponsible about the body, but inwardly don't assess your value based on how your face looks, how your body is, etc. You are the spirit, and let the spirit be victorious over the body. Now, talking about the spirit, Purushaha Purnam Anena Sarvam Iti, two definitions. Purusha Shabda comes from Purnaha. Sarvam Anena Purnaha. Everything is filled with this. Purna is the past participle of Pra Dhatu. Just as Gam becomes Gata, Pra becomes not Krita but Purna. Gam becomes Gata, Bhuj becomes Bhukta. Normally, lot of roots have their past passive participle with ta. But pra dhatu, like gataha jalena puryate, that is passive voice. Pra, to fill. And the past passive is purnaha. Purnamanena sarvamiti. So that which fills anything and everything in the entire universe. Second meaning is puri shayana. That supreme truth, shayana, resides in the city. Every body is a city. Puri shayana va purusha. Adityantargato hiranyagarbha sarva pranikarananam anugrahakah sah adidaivatam. The moment this supreme truth which is everywhere, which is Adityantargata, which is in the sun also, and then which in our terms of how we visualize it, on one notch below is the Hiranyagarbha. One notch below, just like the President of India, one notch below is the governor in every state. The governor represents the president. The president is a larger manifestation. Governor of every state is a smaller manifestation. So, Hiranyagarbha sarva prani karananam nutya. Karana, all of us have indriyas. They are all made to function thanks to the Supreme Spirit which is in us. So that Supreme Spirit is Adi Daivatam. Then the sixth question is, who under the sun or above the sun also is Adi Yajna? Sri Krishna says, Ahameva Atra Adi Yajnaha. Wow, we wish we had a short video clip of Lord Krishna saying all these things. In quite a bit of likelihood, Sri Krishna must be taking his palm onto his chest. Arjuna, I am myself Adi Yajna. But what is Yajna? Yajna itself means Vishnu actually. Yajna doesn't have to mean the fire ritual. First of all, Adi Yajna, Sarva Yajna Abhimanini, Vishnu Akhya Devata. So the act, the ritual is Yajna, but the Devata which is propitiated through the ritual is also Yajna. In Taittiriya Samhita, not in Taittiriya Upanishad. Most of us are Vedanta students, we study Taittiriya Upanishad. Shikshavalli, Brahmanandavalli, Bhraguvalli. Then we say Sahanavatu and done. But there is a larger body of the Vedas, Taittiriya Samhita, where this Upanishad is located. Somewhere there is the statement, Yajno vai Vishnuhu. So the word Yajna means Vishnu. It is Shrutehe. The Upanishads, of course, Samhita, Brahmana, all of them are part of Vedas. Therefore, Shruti. Sahi Vishnuhu Ahameva. Asmin Dehe, I am that Vishnu. I preside over all the Vedic rituals. Atra Asmin Dehe Yo Yajnaha Tasyaham Yadi Adi Yajnaha. Yajno hi Deha Nirvartyatvena Deha Samavayi iti Deha Adhikarano Bhavati Deha Bhutam Vara. Why has Sri Krishna added Dehe? I am Vishnu, presiding over and everything happening in the body. See, there is an external Vedic ritual which we do. Fire is lit up and offerings are made, swaha, swaha, and so on. But there is a constant yajna going on inside us also. In our body, every time we eat something, that is a yajna. Every time we drink something, every time we see something. Some of us went to Ayodhya last month and had darshan of Ram Lalla, young boy Sri Ram, unmarried yet. We had a darshan. See, that is yajna, because we take in beautiful form of Sri Ram in Ayodhya, where Prana Pratishtha was done January 22. We went February 24 or something. So that's seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. They're all yajnas. And the conscious principle, the supreme truth of life is consciousness. More we appreciate that it is pure consciousness which is the truth of the universe, which is the truth of me. We will succeed in letting go our anxiety about money, about health, about looking good, about getting some position, getting some praise. All these things eat us up normally. But if we become well known, good. If we don't become well known, no problem. Let us be that flower which is not seen by any passerby, which is behind a leaf, which all the same exudes, emits, gives out its fragrance. By a jungle path, some people are passing and they say, wow, what a wonderful fragrance. Where is this coming from? They don't know. They move on. The flower is not seen. Like that, you and I don't have to worry about making money or being in some position, reaching some coveted place, etc. If it happens, good. If it doesn't happen, very good. That kind of being independent of what you get, but day after day increasing what we can give is the spirit of the Vedanta. Deha samavai. Once it is functioning in the body, it is right with the body, on par, coexisting. Like the redness in a pot, a mud pot or an earthen pot is heated, it becomes reddish. That redness and the pot surface are inseparable. That is called samavaya, being together. Dehadikarano bhavati dehabhritam vara. Talking about that divine conscious principle operating in the body, as a reference to the body, very appropriately Lord Sri Krishna says or addresses Arjuna as Dehabhrita Vara. Now the seventh, the last question. Interesting, it is put as the seventh. In the background story of the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam by Shukamuni to that King Parikshit, you have the story. King Parikshit had been cursed. You will die on the seventh day. And King Parikshit is so anxious. Then he wants to spend his last few days listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. So, seventh day, you will die on the seventh day. Right? Here, the seventh question is about death and how we may know God during the moment of so-called death. We don't die, it is considered death when we die. We use the expression also, when we die. It's like saying, when the sun sets this evening, when the sun rises tomorrow morning. What are you talking? Neither the sun sets nor does he rise. We know enough science now. Sun doesn't rise or set. But the language continues. What a beautiful sunrise, we say. Likewise, this language, when we die, etc., continues. It will continue. But scratch the surface, the truth is nobody dies. Swami Chinmayanand used to say, every body dies, but nobody dies. Anta kale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. Arjuna, knowing me during the moment of so-called death, which actually you are passing over to another body, another realm, this present body collapses. This present body withers away, is burnt or buried, or as Parsis do, it is put on a tall tower for vultures to come and eat it out. Some places it is put into a river after tying a heavy stone onto the waist of the body. Basically, the idea is the physical body has come from five elements. Let it go back to the five elements. Fire is one of the five elements. Air is one of the five elements. Water is one of the five elements. Earth is one of the five elements. Akasha, space is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi. The body has come from these and let the body go back to these, but the spirit is not made of five elements. Spirit is the enlivening factor. So to know God during the time of the so-called death is as simple as remember God. Antakale mameva smaran kalevaram muktva, leaving the physical body. Yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Whoever leaves this physical body, he or she reaches madbhava, mama bhava, my being, my state, my abode. Na nasti atra samshaya, na asti atra. There is no doubt. Simple. Therefore, Adi Shankara also gives a short commentary. Antakale, maranakale cha. The cha is significant. Even at the time of dying. Cha means even at. Which means in order that you remember God at the time of dying, it is necessary that you have been remembering God quite a lot during your life. Then at the time of death, it comes naturally. Otherwise, you remember something else, somebody else, some place. Swami Chinmayanand was talking on this chapter, I guess, long back. Probably it was as early as 1981 or so. I heard him in Chennai before I joined the ashram and all that. And he had to explain this verse. Then he said, unless you think of God through your life, that means even you start after 70, 75, and let's say you pass, let's say 80. In the last 5 years, you have done a lot of smarana. Then at the time of dying, you. And he was given to so much humor, right? He said, at that time, there was one earthquake in Maharashtra at a place called Koina. He referred to the earthquake in Koina and humorously said, when houses started collapsing, a man ran out of the house. People thought he would look for his wife, but he rushed to another house and wondered and double checked whether another woman is alive or not. So he was attached to that woman apparently. That's how Swamiji would make thousands of people laugh. Because the man, though married to this lady, had his heart fixed on the other lady. So at the time of earthquake, he didn't bother to check what his wife was doing inside, whether she had already run out. He go to three houses that side and checked whether that other woman to whom he was attached was safe or not. So if you and I have been thinking of God for a number of years, we would think of God at the time of death too, not otherwise. Cha. Mameva Parameshwaram Vishnum Smaran Muktva Kalevaram Muktva Shariram Yaprayati Sagachati Madhava Vaishnavam Tattvam Yati. Vaishnava is of Vishnu. Vishnoho iti Vaishnavam. Vishnu's state. That's how Kathopanishad says. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Those who live in Viveka and Vairagya. Those who have their Buddhi. Buddhim tu Sarathim Viddhi. Buddhi, the charioteer, has been constantly spiritually educated. Then, at the end of the life, Gachanti Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Vaishnavam Tattvam. Have no doubt about it. Therefore, Sri Krishna is emphatic and giving the same principle a broader canvas. Lord Krishna says, it's not just about me. Those who think of me, come to me. But suppose somebody thinks of something else, they go to that something else. So Acharya Shankara connects us to the sixth verse. Na madvishaya eva yam niyama. This is a principle not just about me. It's about anything. Whatever people think of, they will move towards that. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Yam yam bhavam smaran. Thinking of anything. Bhava here means any form of existence. The great Rishi who was extremely evolved, whose name was Jada Bharata, though otherwise he was way above, during the last few days of his life, he got attached to one deer, one baby deer whom he raised. Though he had otherwise gained a lot of religious merit by his tapas, because of that attachment that somehow developed in the last few days, while breathing his last, he thought of the deer, not of Shiva or Vishnu, Devi or Ganesha. And next life he was born as a deer. But that deer, it is said, had memory of past life. So yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Ante kalevaram tyajan. Kalevara is a synonym of sharira, deha. Tam tam eva etikam. Every now and then you and I get nowadays WhatsApp videos of 3-year-old, 4-year-old boys, girls. There was a 3-year-old or one boy other day who came on some show. They bring him, he's such a small child. They bring him like bringing a some huge pumpkin on a tray. They bring him. As soon as he comes, he says, Radhe, Radhe, Bolo, Jai Shri Krishna. He can't even speak properly. His voice is not yet proper adult voice. Then he gives some tips on Bhagavad Geetā. The panelists ask him, what is the message of Gita? And in his voice, which is child's voice, not yet formed properly, can't pronounce every word very properly, though no error. He says, when you buy an electronic gadget in some shop, you get a manual. Using the manual, you can use the gadget properly. He says in Hindi, of course, in that clip. Likewise, you are born with the body to use your body, senses, etc. properly. Bhagavad Gita is the manual. And the panelists are amazed. This little 4-year-old child. Because in his previous life, as a woman or as a man, this Jivatma had thought so much about Gita, about Bhagavatam, about spirituality. So within 2 or 3 years of being born in next life, he surprises his parents. Then they train him a little bit and bring that child to some show. Thousands are watching, it's shown live on the TV and so on. Another girl was seen, someone is singing some bhajan, she gets up and dances. Who taught her the dance? She dances very appropriately to that song, to that tune, and so on. So, all Purva Janma Abhyasa Sada Tadbhava Bhavita. So, it applies equally to dance, music, language, sports, film, any field, not necessarily to God, not to God. Think of God, you reach God. Yam yam va api yam yam bhavam devata vishesham. In a more traditional context, devata vishesham. Smaran, chintayan. Devata vishesha means particular devatas. Vishesha means particular. Thinking of any particular devata, in extended sense, even fields of activity in the world. Antakale, prana viyoga kale, shariram, tameva smritam bhavameva eti na anyam. That's the law. This is a niyama. It's a law. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, sada tadbhava bhavita. As you think, so you become. Tadbhava. Bhava here is contemplation, thinking. Smaryamanataya abhyastaha, abhyasaha kritaha, abhyastaha. When the practice has been done, then that leads your further events or where you go, what you reach. So this is for me a message of great hope. No matter how foolishly we have lived so far, we can make a new beginning today. Think of good things, have noble thoughts, do not hate anybody, do not have revenge against anybody, forgive them. God will teach them a lesson. If they have to get a lesson, God will take care of it. You don't say, I am going to teach him a lesson, and so on, because it will cause negativities in you. Therefore, seek justice, but don't have to yourself get down into it. Unless you are a police officer, you are a military person, you are a judge. A judge cannot say, you know, I am a Vedanta student and I have been told not to be judgmental. Therefore, I think both sides are okay. I don't pronounce any judgment on any side. Then first you resign and settle all your accounts. Don't draw a salary as a judge. Don't go around saying I am justice in this court or that court. Moment you take that role, you have to judge, but that is different from the spiritual context where psychologically you don't have any hatred. A judge can pronounce a judgment without hating the criminal. As per the law, he says this is what is to be done. So there's a big difference. If you are on an interview panel, you need to judge. There was an intriguing case in Varanasi once when, for the post of a music teacher, sitar, instrumental music, sitar teacher, there's some 10 or 12 candidates had come. They were interviewed and they were made to play also. The panel actually listened. One of them was a blind woman. She played quite well. And there was some debate. Half the panelists said, interview panel, let us be humanitarian and give her the job. The other half said that humanitarian outlook is good, but you see, if she cannot see the students, if she cannot see the boys and girls, if she can control the class, or if she cannot see how boys and girls are moving their fingers on the sitar, how they are holding and so on, all these limitations will come in the way of her giving her best to the college. So she's great, she's a good musician, but she should contribute to the society in some other way, not being a college teacher of music. Finally, she was not selected, and I don't want to say more about it. There were some repercussions. Some gunda also called. How dare you not select? Tomorrow we will come and break the glasses of your college windows or something. So that was handled quite well. That's a different story. But judgment, in the interest of the hundreds of students year after year learning sitar, the musical stringed instrument, that young lady with due sympathy was not selected. She won't be able to teach and train and instruct and watch and control the class, etc., etc. Very intriguing case. Sometimes it causes a moral debate. Therefore, judging functionally as per our role playing is one thing, but having a personal dislike, etc., is a different. Therefore, think of God, you will go towards God. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva.